Welcome back to Two Canadians at Kafe Lise, a Vigor podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Anton, and with me is the other host, DJ Spencer.
Hello.
Hey, this is episode 64. We figured we'll do it's now that we're getting close to a month in of the new season. We would now do the map episode for the new map that just came out, Myren. We both really kind of wish that it stayed the feature map a bit longer than it did. I thought maybe it would have been nice if it was for the whole first month or whatever, like when they do the first update, which is usually after the first month. Maybe then it could have gone into rotation. That would have been all right, but yeah, it just feels that it was
Yeah.
really short.
Yeah, definitely the same thing. Because even with the preview build, I didn't get much time on it when it was a static map on the preview build, and uh, I don't know about you though, Doc. I'm really enjoying the game, or not the. I enjoy the game. I enjoy the map.
Yeah,
It is a
yeah.
fantastic addition to the maps in the game.
Oh yeah, same. It's easily become one of my favorites. And whenever it's up, I definitely go there, and you can see my wife in the background here as she goes to clean the kitty litter back there, so just ignore her. But yeah, it is obviously because it's a newer map, and I don't know if it's the nature or what, but everyone's going to it for sure, right? Because it's new, everyone's really into it. It is very combat oriented right now. You can go in and do a bunch of looting, and be reasonably sure of getting out. But I do find, like, on the Xbox, I'm more ready to go into it than I am in, say, the Switch, just
Yeah.
because with the Switch, there she goes. Okay, with the Switch, I'm not as high level. I don't have all the same bells and whistles I do on my Xbox account. And
Mhm.
so if I get into a fight on the Switch, yeah, it's a whole different thing, right? Yeah.
I I don't know if I'd call it combat oriented right now though.
Yeah.
Because what I've noticed with the map is literally like with all the spawn locations, like you are probably going to
Mhm.
run into someone like right off the bat. But after that, like you may run into like someone who's going to try to third party that initial fight. But after that, I find it's quiet. Like honestly, I find it not that I try to go for threat, but it's like
Yeah.
it's hard to find people after the fact. After that, like initial like 2 to 5 minutes, if you're
Yeah.
still alive, I find you're not running across anyone unless you might go for the airdrop and like someone else is going for it too. Like I
Yeah.
find there's like a big lull kind of between in the middle portion of the encounter because it is such a big map. Like I remember like we talked about it on the preview episode. Like I stood on the border crossing and like I pinged each way and it's basically like a kilometer by 1 kilometer. So it's a massive map. So
Yeah.
yeah, aside from like some of the spawns being really close, um it because, like, I remember, like, I've spawned into some games, and I'm walking maybe, like, 20, 30 meters, and I'm looking at each side, and I'm seeing one person on one side or even, like, 2 people, and, like, if you have a sniper, it's like, take your shots, and it's like, you'll get that first kill or whatever, and
Yeah.
or just let them go and go a different way. Like, it is so good. And when
That's
it comes
true.
to looting, um, I think it's a decent map. Like,
Yeah.
you so I find it's a little different than Grantham Valley. I say you have to work for the loot, right?
Yeah.
Like because you're getting like one out of each drawer or whatever.
Mhm.
Here it's like you could get decent amount of loot. It's just you have to travel to
You
get
do
it.
have to travel a lot to get it. That's true. And
Eh, eh,
it's I might be
yeah.
also thinking back a bit to when it first came out, because when it first came out, um, it yeah, it was a lot more. I'm thinking it was a lot more heavy combat at the time, just because um, it was one of those in the early days. It was those things where you'd go onto the map and you'd be pinged right away. You know what I mean? And
But it was so
so,
easy to get your seasonal challenge done
yeah.
for like the jam signals.
And I totally did. Within like the first 2 days,
Yeah,
I had that totally done.
yeah.
But
Or the
now,
transmitters detected.
yeah, there were transmitters detected. Yeah.
Yeah,
But now going in there, you're right. It's not nearly the same because, yeah, I go out there and I don't get pinged right away. Um,
yeah,
Not as quickly, anyways. I might still get pinged depending on who's out there. But
yeah,
yeah, no, it's fair. It's maybe not as combat oriented now than it was when it first came out, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like the beauty of this is like it's massive
Yeah.
and it is so dynamic compared to all the other maps because like the number of signal detectors locations is like double, I think, or triple a normal map. Uh Same thing with the locations of like, the loot events.
Mhm.
It is fantastic. And they've actually we'll talk about it later, but like they've
Yeah.
changed where like Bard House like kind of spawns in type thing, how like where they are.
Yeah.
Like oh my god, like
There's
they
so
did
many
such a good
different
job.
places and types of locations that are
Yeah.
different for the Bard House. Yeah.
And like the minefields, like yeah,
Mhm.
it is so good. Like honestly, like Chef's Kiss, like they did a wonderful job. It is just like
Yeah.
massive. So anyways,
Yeah, for
we could
sure.
be I'll stop rambling.
No, totally. And as we go through it, we'll be talking more about it anyway, so we might as well just get right into it. But before we do, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. We appreciate it. Leave us a comment. We like to see those, and we try to get back to every one of them.
Yep,
Or if we can't say something, we'll react or something, right? So
yep.
we
And on
appreciate
your
it.
podcast, favorite podcast listening application, leave us a review. Hopefully a 5 star.
Yeah, yeah. If you like us, please
Yeah,
leave us a 5 star. If you don't like us, then why are you watching? But maybe tell someone else to watch it. Maybe they'll like us, and then they'll give us the 5 star review. So, anyways, yeah, let's get into it here. Um, let's just take a look and start going through the different locations. And I'm just hitting the wrong buttons. And here we go.
yeah, and this has been challenging because, like Doc said, it wasn't a static map for the longest time. So for
Yeah.
us to try to get like the kind of rough like loot that's found at each location might be a little off. So it's
Oh,
like
for sure.
even though we're playing like Myren anytime it's up, it's been kind of a struggle bus to get this all
Yeah,
done.
because you can usually only get maybe 2 or 3 rounds in a map before it changes out, right? And so, and then it's cycling through a whole bunch of other maps and takes a while before it comes back. And yeah,
Yeah,
just don't have the hours in the day to try to get them all. So hopefully we got we have a pretty good idea of what you can find and what locations. But yeah,
yeah,
there's definitely going to be some variations
yeah.
for sure. But yeah, this is obviously you've been playing most likely, but this is the map. It's got it's a really big open map, and it's like wide and tall. It's like just one big round map. Four exits, northeast, like pretty much northeast, southwest.
Mhm.
The western one being a little more south, and the other ones fairly centered in their relative areas. I have found with some of these exits that there's maybe a couple of them that are fairly long run. Like I think is it
Mhm.
the bottom one that's a bit longer run to get into, and the one on the east? No, the west. The
The
western one I
West.
think is a
Yeah,
bit long run to get into.
yeah,
But then the one in the north, it's kind of tricky because like if you're following the wall, the stone wall, like you're in it without even realizing it sometimes, and the
yeah.
countdown starts like, oh wow, I'm in it. Okay, I didn't even realize I was that close. So
The north
it's
one
yeah,
has a nice little like passageway if you're on like the northwest side of it, where it's
yeah,
like you literally have like almost like a tunnel
yeah.
where it's like safe passage, and then it leads right to like the exit. So it's like you can't get sniped or anything like that because like pretty much all the other exits except for the eastern one, like they're wide open and it's like
Mhm.
there's a little bit of cover, but it like just this map is a sniper map. You need to bring a sniper map, pretty much
sniper rifle or something.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
something with a scope. You don't need to, but you definitely notice not having one. It's sort of like Fjell in that way, right? Fjell Canton.
Mhm.
It's really handy to have a scope in Fjell Canton because there's a lot of hills and you're looking down over things and you can get some good sniping going. This
Yeah.
one doesn't have so many hills. It does have some higher areas like the buildings you can get on, and there are some hilly areas, but they're not the same level as Fjell.
No.
But you can see quite far, and if you have
Yeah.
a good sniper rifle, yeah, you can get some good snipes going on it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the first location, just starting at the very top, is Smuggler's Crossing. So that one, it has some stuff in around it, like it does have some fuel and chems and wire. We found so far. There might be other things, but that's the things that we found so far there. And it's also a location that signals will pop up. And I think it's a fairly popular location for signals. I think there's quite a few times I've gone in and signals has been there, but signals does have lots of different areas it can spawn. As you can see on this particular map, it happened to spawn just west of a location right now. Um, but yeah, it has a lot of good options for where signals can spawn on here. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, and Smuggler's Crossing is sort of that. Um, it is a kind of a bigger open area too. When you're there, so you can be seen when you're there from a lot of different angles. And I
Yeah.
think there's some barbed wire that goes along it, along the water parts. I think up to it. I think that's where that is.
Yeah, it pretty much goes all the way down south. Like it follows.
Yeah,
Uh, you kind of see like an outline, and uh,
yeah.
there's breaks in the fences and whatnot. Like there's gates, but then there's also like places where the fences are like busted
And
type
it
thing.
and it totally makes sense because this is like pretty much this almost center right between the two, the Soviet side and the NATO side. So it totally makes
Yeah.
sense. It's just yeah,
Yeah, and you'll find minefields throughout this area type thing. They're not massive, but there are areas where it is kind of like a minefield, but they're
mhm.
all designated with the little like signs that with the little white skulls. And one thing that's interesting is you'll actually find quite a few lock containers if you like go down this tunnel type thing. Um,
Oh, okay.
like, if you followed, like, this north-south route type thing,
Yeah.
like, along the water all the way down to the map, like, there's, like, quite a few containers
Like
that
the
spawn there.
blue locked ones.
No, like, the lock container, like, the loot event
Oh, I see what you mean. Like it spawns in different locations along here.
along here, and it's, like,
Okay.
it's pretty open, right? Because
Right.
the ones that are inside are, like, exposed because there's, like, hills kind of, like, on both sides or,
Hmm.
um, yeah. So, it's definitely, a interesting spot to
Yeah.
go loot.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Okay. And then as we go crisscross array, we go back to the west here. We have the
Yeah.
Knutsen family estate. Um, there's a few different spawn points right around here too. So like there's one not too far from where Smugglers was. There's one off to the corner by the water on this one. There's a spawn, and there's some down south from here. There's a few different spawns. So like you can potentially spawn near people really easily around here. And this is sort of like a focal point that people can run to. So you gotta be a little careful. Um, Especially if you get pinged right away or whatever, there's a good chance. Um, but it's a really good location because there's like a house, there's a main house, there's like a long house, there's a couple different shacks or sheds or whatever you want to call them. There's vehicles around here. As far as what can spawn here, almost everything can spawn here. Like as far
Mhm.
as resources, you name it, it'll you can find it. Fuel, chems, food, fertilizer, glass, metal, wire, most likely nails. I don't know if I found nails or not, but
Yeah.
there's a chance. The different
No,
types of
there is
consumables you
nails.
can find here. There is okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Different types of consumables you can find here. You can find those blue lock boxes, like the combo boxes here. Signals can spawn here as well. So like right in the kind of near the not the total middle, but in the central area because the buildings are sort of in almost like a circular shape, more like a U shape, I guess, because there's a road into it. Um, So you can have signals. There's a phone and a phone booth here. There might be, yeah, there's definitely one in a phone booth.
Yep.
Bard can spawn here. There can be a disruptor, comm station, pretty much everything. It's a massive, everything is right in the spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
So it's
you
a
might be
good
able
one.
to hit the jackpot where you get literally everything.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But when it comes to the spawn point stock, like honestly, like all the spawns except for I think there's like one or two where is basically they're all on the outside and
Yeah.
everyone's kind of running inward. Uh like I think
Yeah.
it's by not the next location, but like a couple of locations from now. Like actually from here where your character is, I think it's just a little southwest of that. There's
Mhm.
like a spawn point.
Yep.
But it's like, yeah, for the most part, it's like they're all on the edge of the map, and it's like you're all running in, and like you definitely, like I said, you want to look left, right to have a look where people are going because
Yeah.
you are going to see people quickly, and especially like Doc was saying earlier, Knutsen, it's like the POI is so close to like the spawn locations, you're going to run it. Like I've had games here where like we're three people already within a minute of
Yeah.
that location, and it's a little hectic if there's stuff around. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but
Yeah. And it's like it is a little bit higher up in some locations, like the longhouse. If you go out the back of the longhouse, there's like a deck, and the deck has stairs down a couple spots, and then you got some trees, and that leads to the near the smugglers crossing kind of area. So
yep,
um yeah, you can definitely run into quite the gambit of stuff around here.
yep. Uh, Next we're heading eastward, almost to the opposite side of the map. We're looking at the failed pincer movement. So there's like a bunch of like broken down tanks. I think there's like some missiles stuck in the ground type thing.
Yeah, there
Some
might be.
craters. And here you actually get quite a bit of stuff like
Yeah.
fuels, nails, metal parts, wire. I think even chems. Uh, Chems are like
Potentially.
sprinkled all over the place here. It's kind
Yeah.
of like good for almost everything, uh, loot wise, anyways. And I didn't see this one, but Doc found a dig spot
Yeah.
north of the destroyed
Yeah, yeah. So just almost directly north from here, there's a cabin that is partially destroyed, and there's some rocks beside it, and in those rocks is a dig spot. And I had found this Polaroid, and I've been trying to collect. I've been going through recently and getting Polaroids, taking screenshots of them, and finding them, and then getting all the different coordinates and everything for them. And this was one that I saw the Polaroid at first, and I'm looking at it, and I was looking at the map trying to figure out where could this be. And I just happened to see there was a building. There's like a little building up in the near the cliffs or mountains over there. I was like, this that could be there, and I ran over there, and that's where it was. It actually worked out pretty well.
Nice.
So yeah, the Polaroid, if you think about it, when you get it, when you look at it, it kind of matches where you think that would be. So it's kind of cool. And that's that spawn location, that where that dig spot is, also has like various things there too, like almost the same kind of stuff that you can find down in the pincer movement area. So additional resources can be found there. Yeah. Okay, that's the failed pincer movement going on. We have AA Battery Bravo, which is just to the east and just a little bit south of the failed pincer movement. Um, so this is another one. Not a there wasn't there was a few things here. Like it varies depending on when you spawn there. Sometimes there can be, some good stuff. Sometimes there may not be very much. I've definitely had times where I've gone there. There's like almost nothing there, maybe one thing. But you can find like fuel and chems, food, wire, and metal parts here. They have those. I think it's one of those ones where they have those big guns. I think it's one of those locations that has those big guns that
The artillery
artillery. Yeah, the artillery gun. I think that's what it. Yeah, the artillery, which would AA would probably have something to do with some kind of artillery. I'm sure. Um, designation. You can tell I know this stuff. No. But yeah, and as DJ was saying, there's quite a few spawns not far, just to the south from here. On our map here too, just a little bit south, is Disruptive Tower. And so this map, it's a big map, but there are times where it doesn't seem like it takes very long to get to certain areas, right? Like you start one spot and you can hit a few things on the way fairly quickly. But then if you're running across the map, it seems to take forever. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit, yeah.
Oh,
Like,
actually, I found a dig spot here. Now that I think about it,
oh,
so there's two like kind of like artillery bunkers type thing.
yeah,
And I think it's the one on the western one. I think it's
okay,
just in front of that one. Come to think about it. Sorry, I was like kind
yeah,
of like trying to think if there's anything else because
yeah. There's a few, like I have quite a few Polaroids that I've taken screen captures of in this map that I still haven't figured out yet. I found quite a few, but yeah, I'm really curious how many total spots there are. It'd be interesting to find out at some point.
yeah.
Okay, so that's AA Battery Bravo. Go back to the side of the map. We're at the Triage Station. So this is
Uh,
along the road. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we have it in the right order there.
yep.
Yeah, the Triage Station, which is right on our little map here by the signals. This one's interesting because it's along the road. It's like you've got like a little tank, um, or more part of it more like an armored personnel kind of vehicle or something. Because I don't think it has a turret or anything. I think it's like one of those types of armored vehicles. Across the road a little bit, or just off to the side of the road on one side. It's like on both sides they have this. Then they have some tents or a tent, and then some beds and all that kind of stuff. And inside there, you can find uh, the comm station could be here. You can find a red crate here. Bard can be here. Pardon me. Chems, metal, nails, heals, like healing consumables, weapon crates. I don't know if I've ever found a weapon here, but I think I found parts. But the weapon
Yeah.
crates are here, so they could be multiple things that you can
Uh,
find. Close
and
by
actually,
here. Oh, yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, I was
I
just
was
going to
gonna
say,
say, go ahead.
I was just going to say,
Finish your
close
thought.
by here. Yeah, close by here is just to the west a little bit, or east. I'm sorry, just to the east a little bit is a trench, and that trench is really good too because it can have a bard location there, which is actually like in a little room in the trench, like a sort of a separate little
It's a
room.
bunker. Yeah.
It's like a bunker room, yeah. That can be barred. I found the red crate there by itself. There's another dig spot on a lookout point facing east. I found.
It's literally outside the Bard House bunker.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah,
No,
like it's just
no, it
over a bit.
literally is.
I thought it was like, well, it's like, well, it's close. It's like it's just off to the side a little bit. It's not directly across. It's just off to the side, but it's yeah. There's weapon crates throughout here. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on that in that trench. What
Yeah.
were you gonna point?
Well, I was gonna say triage station, like the Bard House isn't physically at that POI. It's in the trench.
Oh, the
Uh,
trench one. That's the bard's.
there,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
There's no actual like loot event there. But yeah, the trenches on both sides. It's like they're good for like I found chems, glass,
Yep.
metal parts, nails. Like it is. It's really good. It's just you
Hmm.
have to like go through the whole thing.
Yeah, you have to run through them to find it all, and sometimes it'll be in the trench. Sometimes it'll be on the side of the trench, like up
Yeah.
top. There's also a dig spot at this triage locate station. The bottom armored vehicle, the one on the south, just on the like the side of it, the southern side of that vehicle. There's a dig spot right there. Um, yeah, yeah, and then obviously as you can see, signals can spawn not far from it. I found I think it was a forest troll not too far in the trees, not far from here. So a little bit of everything spawns just in this little area here.
Mhm.
Okay, what's next?
Shot down jet, which is actually pretty cool. If you do check it out,
Yeah,
it's literally like a broken up fighter jet, and you could actually see inside the cockpit and everything. Not too much. Like you get metal wire along the wreckage type thing,
yeah.
and there's there's a little camp west. Wait, this is zero
Yeah,
dock, so I don't.
yeah, it's just to the west of the shot down jet because it goes up into some rocks, right? Up into some rocky area.
Oh, okay.
And then there's like I say it's a camp, but it's more maybe more like a military little station because there's a couple different like military tents. I think there's even artillery there maybe. So there's a
It's like
couple things up
a
in the
campsite.
rocks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That you can find
And
stuff in.
oh, okay, I know where this okay, yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Actually,
Yeah,
this is the cool one. So that little campsite, you could actually get Bard House in one of the tents, which is one
yeah.
of the new loot events areas, I guess, or buildings, whatever you want to call it. It is super cool. This place, oh my god. Anytime I've had a game with this Bard House, there's bodies everywhere. If you're not there first, like
Yeah.
and you come across it, it's like there's gonna be bodies everywhere. It's like bloody carnage. There's like rocks all over the place type thing. But it is cool that they incorporated a tent as a Bard House.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I do like it. Um, and yeah, yeah, it's a neat area to go visit for sure. Because you can find quite a, well, you find a little bit there, but then if you're lucky, there's Bard House. But yeah, it's a neat area.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have the workers' settlement. So this is just down a little bit from the end to the east of the down jet. This is another neat one. It has like I guess they're both new buildings. Like even that there's
Yeah.
a two-story I guess like it's obviously it's a worker settlement. So it's a two-story bunkhouse.
Yeah.
And then there's like a cabin kind of style
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
I was going to say like a Swiss chalet type thing
Yeah.
where it's like but
A little
it's
bit.
like
Yeah.
the two-story building is essentially like from a DayZ building, which is fantastic that
Yeah.
they've incorporated uh, that because it kind of saves on development time. So,
Mhm. Yeah, you can find time safe here. You can obviously, I'm pretty sure I found the red crate here. There's obviously a
mhm,
phone in the two-story house. There's you can have two comm stations right by here. Because there's just outside of the two main houses, like on the log house side, there's like a place where a comm station can spawn, and then just down the hill a little bit is another like a ruined house where a comm station can spawn. So it's like you have two comm stations right close to each other. The comm station can be in the two-story house, so they have a lot
mhm.
of different points right there for it. Um, you can find lots of glass, definitely lots of glass. I think I found chems here as well.
Oh yeah,
I th-
yeah,
yeah,
lots of chems.
I think yeah, chems, glass. I think the various metals can be found around here, typically in and around it. You can find food here. Um, yeah,
I
because
don't think you
that log
said
house.
container. Lock
No,
container
I don't.
is
Yeah, no, I didn't.
yeah. So lock container will be appear between the two buildings.
Oh, I hadn't had that hasn't happened for me yet, so okay.
Yeah, I had someone kill me after we opened Time Vault together, and I was looting lock container. So I was
Gotcha.
not thrilled, but betrayed.
Betrayed.
Yeah, never trust
But,
anyone.
yeah, you can get onto the roof of the two-story. There's
Mm,
a ladder up, and it's, pretty funny. I was watching Mod yesterday. I don't know
mm.
if was it Mod? I'm not sure if it was no, it might have been yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. I think it was yesterday. He was doing duels with, Skull, and, Skull was up there, and Mod got killed. A guy came up the ladder, and Skull killed him with his shotgun. Then the guy's partner came up the ladder, and Skull got him with the shotgun because he's just lying down waiting right at that hole. And then another team came up. One came up the ladder, he killed him. Another guy was trying to, I think, either entice them or whatever, by going up the there's a one of those almost like a fire escape walk up, like a
Mhm.
steel walk up on the side, and he was like jumping off of it and trying to get, I think, Skull to show his head to, but maybe he got frustrated, I don't know. He came up the ladder, he got his he got shot off. Like Skull had like 4 or 5 kills just by sitting up there, and he wasn't meaning to just sit up there, but people kept coming up. It's like, so you may not get that lucky, but it's an interesting spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you may have a co-host with a shotgun up on the roof trying to shoot
Taking
you,
shots at you. Yeah.
and then try to shoot you in the back on the way out as well.
We weren't duos.
No, we weren't, but
Yeah, but then you turned around and killed me, so it's all right.
you shot at me.
Yeah,
Your shots were fired.
I was running around in my Switch. That was my Switch game, so it's all good.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a good area, so definitely check it out.
Yep.
Next one over is go ahead.
Nope. We are going to the Soviet military camp, so that's a little southeast. Uh, it is literally like a bunch of rows of uh, tents, pretty
Hmm.
much,
Yep.
and not a ton of stuff. Like the camps will have heals, weapon crates, food. Um, not a ton of things either. But if you go like down by the road, there's a bunch of cars.
Yeah.
You can get food too along the road, and then your typical stuff from the cars, so like electronics, wire,
The
and metal parts.
yeah, and the disruptive tower can spawn here too, because I have had that happen a couple times. And I
Okay.
think the blue lockbox can spawn here, because I seem to remember killing somebody and I heard them just before I killed them go through, like, open up a, a blue lockbox. I'm pretty sure. So I think a blue lockbox can spawn in one of the tents here.
Oh,
I'm not
oh.
100% sure on that, but
Actually, I think this one too. This is there's another Bard House location that's new.
Mhm.
It's in one of those green trailers, and that's basically
Oh
just like between the Soviet military camp, like where the tents are, and
yeah,
the worker settlement. There's like an RV, and then there's like a green trailer type thing. There is literally a Bard House in that green trailer thing. It is,
oh wow,
again, it is so cool. Uh like you don't want to be in there because like you could wall bang, right? So if
yeah,
someone's in there wall bang, like, oh my god, it's so bad for like new players, but like it is so cool. Like
oh.
I got excited when I saw that.
And
Uh
I don't think I've seen that yet, so that's really cool, because then
yeah.
you can well, I would definitely just run in, um, get it unlocking and get out while you're waiting
Yeah.
for it to unlock, because yeah, you don't want to be stuck in there because there's no
Yeah.
other exits. Like, you have one exit with those trailers.
Yeah.
So
You can't jump out the windows. You can't you literally you have to go out that one door.
yeah,
Uh which is funny
um,
because I think if I recall correctly, the windows are still boarded up with
okay, I
like
was
one
going to
or two
ask
wooden
that.
planks, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I never actually tried to like open them.
I because it's the same as
Yeah.
those kind of
The
mechanical
red.
shacks, right?
Yeah.
Or I was thinking of not necessarily red ones, but sometimes red, yeah, because
Yeah.
sometimes they're red, sometimes they're white. But yeah, they have those little windows,
Yeah.
and when they're the Bard house, they're boarded up
Yeah.
as well. So I don't think
These
I've
ones
ever
are
tried to
just
open those
smaller.
either.
Yeah, those ones you can. I'm pretty sure, but this one I don't know. But it is a smaller window, so I'm not sure. We'll have to try it next time we see it.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Because then if you could open it up, then you have, at least you can see it a little bit better out there and have a
Yeah.
way to shoot. Yeah,
Yeah, and so this, like, if you're looking at the map, so the workers settlement is like northwest, and Soviet military is like southeast, and there's like kind of a lake just north of it, or like a little marsh. It is literally on the edge of the marsh, like the southern portion of it. So that's where
yeah,
you're looking at. For it. And like that campsite has like a few good things. Like you get like chems, like electronics, fuel, food. It's decent, but at the actual physical Soviet military, not a ton of stuff.
yeah. No, for sure. Okay. Next, we're going back to the other side of the map. Now we're on the NATO side again, and this is the NATO military camp. And this is a neat one too, because it's a lot of little tents in here, some bigger tents. So you have like the little sleeping tents, I guess, for the soldiers, the bigger tents for planning stuff out, and maybe for triage or whatever, and for officers, who knows.
Mhm.
But there's a little bit of everything in here. There's also a dig spot in this area, in between a couple tents near one of the exits. Maybe more than one, but I just know of one for sure. Um, you can find all your usual kind of stuff. There's some heals. Uh, you can find the vinyl can spawn here. I haven't had
Yeah,
that myself,
it
but
yeah, it's in the kinda like the wooden garage thing. It was in
okay.
there for me.
Oh, okay, okay. That's good to know. Bard House can spawn in here as well.
And this is another neat one. So it's kinda like the Anakin, like, steel container, but it's only the one side that's open where it's like the half door. We were talking about it before, recording, Doc.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
okay.
so it's basically like a steel container where just the one side's open, but there's like a half wall or like one door closed, and then the rest is like the barred house door.
That this is the one I was wondering about.
Yep.
Maybe I think I had my locations mixed up at the time. So this is the
Yep.
one I was wondering about because there was that one I was thinking, could that be a
Yeah.
Bard house? And that okay, that it totally is. That there we go. Because it looks like it could totally be a Bard house, but just hasn't been for me yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's vehicles here, obviously down in that parking area.
Yeah.
Um, so you can find stuff in the vehicles as well sometimes. Uh, yeah, so it's a and there's definitely a phone here, and I think other things can spawn near here as well. I'm not sure about signals, but maybe
Yeah, there is signals.
is there? Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
there's a
Yeah,
couple of signals nearby ish.
nearby,
There's
and
like
the disruptive tower, I think as well.
yeah, like
I
signals. I think
yeah
there's one northeast. There's one inside,
yeah
like in the middle.
right
But there's one northeast. And then I guess the other ones, well, you're basically looking at the next
yeah
location.
yeah next location. So we'll just go to that one now.
So the NATO border is the next location. So this is little southeast or little east and little south. So this has the two new buildings that have been developed just for this map,
Yep.
which unfortunately we cannot enter. But it's basically
Yet.
like a police station. Yeah, they are planning for the mid-season update that we are going to be able to go inside, which maybe is going to add more like Bard House locations for it, because
That'd be
both of
cool.
them are
Yeah.
massive buildings.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, and honestly, like this is one of the better places to loot because you get a lot of
Mhm.
high valuable loot here, like fuel, electronics, glass, chems, like the full gamut, food, like
Mhm.
anything and everything. You will get it here. There's like two or three different locations for phones. Like I think there's like two phone booths.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there's one on the yellow house on the end of it, going towards the Russian side or Soviet side, I should say.
yeah,
There's a phone booth there, and then the other phone booth is on by the red building, closer to the on the NATO side, kind of down there. So,
yep. Time Vault, there's like
yep,
two different locations, I think to my knowledge, where it can spawn
yeah,
around there. Disruptives here,
hmm
comm stations, the red crate is here. Uh, Doc found the northern house lighter, which is the Grondheim lighter.
yeah,
So
more than one
that's
occasion too. So it's
hmm,
yeah,
well, good luck for anyone who needs that one because
yeah.
that was a hard
It's
one to
a
find.
It was, and it's a good one to check. Good place to check, for sure. Both of these buildings you can get on the roof fairly easily. The
Yep.
yellow one has some crate containers you can climb up on to get up there, and the red one has a ladder up. So if you're in that area, be
No,
wary that
yeah,
when
yellow
yeah
has the ladder.
uh
It's on the eastern side of it.
okay, well then it may have a ladder, but then it might also has containers you can climb up on. Um,
I think each
red
building
has a ladder too.
you could basically get on like pretty much every side.
Okay, so yeah,
At
okay,
least
there we
three
go.
of the sides
Yeah.
by like you said, jumping on crates or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is fairly easy to get up there.
Yeah. So both buildings, they're easy to get up on. So when you're around there, to be careful because you never know when someone's up there just waiting or watching. I've had a few times where didn't notice anybody and I was looting, and then someone was on a roof and so definitely.
Yep.
But yeah, like you said, and there's vehicles, there's lots of different food around here. Because there's different, I don't know, like waste
Trash cans.
receptacles, trash cans,
Yeah.
and stuff. I found the blue lockbox on the yellow house in the back, on the back stairs a few times. So you can find blue lock boxes. So yeah, a lot of good stuff here.
Yep.
Then we got the battlefield, in between the two sides, right in the middle. Not I don't Yeah, not a lot here. You might find some metal, maybe some wire. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
even weapon crates. Not sure on that one.
I've only seen the like metal parts and the
Yeah,
wire like along the road, like
yeah,
not in any of the like the craters from like the explosions or anything like that. But I would definitely recommend anyone who is crossing here go in and out of the bunkers, or not the bunkers, but the holes, because
get
it
some
is wide
cover.
open.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's not a place you want to be sitting around looking around for stuff just because. Yeah, I would be really interested to find out if there was like a dig spot somewhere in here. That'd be interesting. Like a really
Hard
dangerous
pass.
dig spot. Yeah,
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 hard
totally. Like,
pass.
oh, nope, not going for this one.
Yep.
Leave it. But the dig spots are so good right now because there's so much good stuff in them. Like all yellow
Yeah.
parts or gold parts, and then there's usually some iodine as well parts. But yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be hard to pass up. But yeah, it would be really not wanting to be out there for sure. Okay, where are we at
Uh,
next? Oh,
okay. Soviet border. So, the original shootout Myren map. This is pretty much the area. With like, there's some minor changes, but for the most part, it is the same thing.
yeah.
Uh, so here, it is another great spot for loot and everything, kind of like the NATO border, because you could pretty much get anything and everything here. Um,
Mhm.
you could get signals as well, uh, comm station, time vault, disruptor, uh, multiple locations for the blue lock boxes, because you could have it in like the busted up AZ building that there's there, but you could also get it in the border crossing area.
Mhm.
Um, the red crates in here, I found it both in the building and in one of the like the stalls, I guess you could call it, of the border crossing.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I think I think it would be the most northern one, but
Mhm.
that's where I found it. Um, trying to think anything else. Vinyl, there's like a green trailer type thing, where it kind of
Oh,
looks like someone's been cooking there, around there. It's actually
yep.
inside.
Okay, I found the
Um,
vinyl on in the big building on the second floor
okay.
in the office. So
Okay.
a couple of
Yeah.
different areas it spawns then
Oh,
in
there you
there.
go. You could find weapon crates, but again, I've only found like weapon parts in them.
Yeah.
The tower that you can't go up in a shootout, you could actually access it, go all the way up. Pardon me. And then you could actually jump onto the roof of the border crossing.
Yeah.
Uh, and then on the opposite side, there's like a ladder to go down. Uh, but you could technically jump back to the watchtower. Is just you have to be careful because otherwise you miss it, you're gonna die.
Yep.
But if you see someone, uh, maybe put your contact bombs at the bottom of the ladder, or some
Mhm.
bear traps or something,
Yeah.
because the angle might not be the easiest to actually uh,
Try to
shoot them.
avoid them.
So,
Yeah, or shoot them. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
anyways, uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything else, Doc? Lots
Yeah.
of food here too. Lots of food
Lots of
crates.
food. The filing cabinets, like a lot of the filing cabinets in the big building, can have something. So like check out all the different cabinets. There's a
Mhm.
dig spot just outside the big building to the north, just a little bit. It's part of the shootout area too, but when you're like sort of the north east corner of that building, there's a dig spot right in there. I found. There's probably others, but that's one that I know of for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's a lot of good stuff can be found here. So
Yep.
yeah, and because both like the tower and the building and the border crossing are so tall, and you can get up to all both roofs. You have pretty much unlimited sight once you're up there.
Oh yeah.
I haven't really gone up there myself yet. I haven't been that brave. Um,
uh, I did it, and I want to say I got my first like kill someone with an airdrop
oh,
kill,
nice.
because the airdrop was kind of like in the middle open area between the border crossing and uh the Daisy building, and then they picked up the crate, and uh they were poor green coat and they didn't know any better.
No,
I just But anyways, I got 1 out of 20 that day. So
nice.
anyways,
There you go.
um but yeah.
Yep. So yeah, Soviet border crossing, definitely a good area. So it's right in the middle of the map. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a magnet for people.
Yeah.
Next we have AA Battery Alpha. So it's just a little bit to the east and south of the border crossing, so not very far. Again, another one of those areas that have like the artillery in it. Not a lot right there, but considering you're right next to the Soviet border crossing, that's where you're going to find all your stuff. So I think we have listed glass, so you can sometimes find glass. I'm not sure if anything else really spawns there, but you're right next to a good spawn location for stuff. So you're just going here to discover the area.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's next?
Misty Lake. So we are going to the bottom left of the map. Uh, so we're in the southwest portion. Uh, Misty Lake is a wonderful spot
Yeah.
because uh, it's a smallish red building, um, which has a lot of stuff. But then there's like a little tent garage with a vehicle, lots of loot in and around. You could get quite a few things, consumables, both like tools and healing, electronics, food, uh, weapon crates, or actual weapons as well. There's a phone, some fuel, and then if you follow the road, there's like a little path that goes up to the top of the hill. There's
Yeah.
like a little rest area, and then you with a shed as well. And there's like additional resources there, like you get fuel, chems, wire, some food, and again, I've had some consumable tools there too. Signals will actually spawn here as well,
Hmm.
at Misty Lake. Um, I don't know about anything else, like comp station wise or anything like that. I don't think I have anything, or
Yeah. I'm
I
just
don't
trying to
think I've ever
remember.
seen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
Um,
remember if I've had disruptive tower here or not.
yeah,
Um, if not here, it's been close because obviously the NATO one's not too far away.
yeah,
So I think when it's hit, it can envelop this area too.
mhm,
But yeah, it's a really good area, and like you said, there's that spot, the little area, sort of rest area, just up from it to the
yeah,
south or whatever, and there's a few spawn points in that area. Um,
yeah.
so even some dig spots I think I found in the back areas a bit. So yeah, it's really it's a good spot. And you can always hear quite often. I've been here and then I've heard people running down the main road. So there's like
Yeah.
it's like on a little side road, but then you hear someone running down the main road. It's like, oh, is it
Oh
coming
yeah,
here?
and like there's so many cars on the main road. Like if you
Yeah,
follow that east-west main road type thing, like aside from like the battlefield,
yeah.
obviously,
Obviously,
between both like border, like the NATO border and the Soviet border, like there's no cars pretty much.
yeah.
But like east and west of those, it's like there's so many vehicles. It is,
You
pretty
can
good.
find a lot of good stuff in the vehicles. I've even found,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it was, if it was on this side or the Russian side, where there was a blue lockbox in the back of a pickup on one of those.
You
Not
mean
the
the military ones, right?
no. I don't think it was a military one. I thought it was a regular
Okay.
one, like a regular pickup, but I could be wrong.
So
But I thought,
so the military trucks I found like a blue lockbox,
hmm
and I want to
it
say that was
maybe
like somewhere in the northeast
okay,
ish, but like it's very well possible that other ones have it. But like yeah, the
maybe
ones that have like like the open cab in the back,
yeah.
like I found a blue box and I was like, this is another thing. I was like, oh my god, like this is awesome. They changed this up too. It's like a new spot. I'm like this
Yeah,
is awesome.
it's possible it was a military one, and I was remembering it wrong, but I could have swore it was a regular pickup. But it's been a long time since that happened, so
Yeah,
my memory might be fuzzy.
that's all good.
Yeah, but yeah, those roads are great. So, except for the middle part, running down those roads and checking them out, you also find like some good consumables too. Like I found adrenaline on occasion, even iodine in some of those vehicles as you're
Yeah.
running. So they're worth checking out if you don't mind taking the car alarm challenge and seeing if you how many you can get off,
Just
and
shoot them.
alerting people.
Shoot the cars.
Yeah, I guess it depends if you're trying to set them off or
Yeah.
not, but yeah.
Yeah.
And that's Misty Lake.
Yeah.
Next, and well, this is sort of the last named one is the
Yeah.
toxic dump. It's a kind of there's a few spawns to the south of it. There's a spawn to the south of it, maybe a couple along that ridge. But the toxic dump itself does have some good loot around it, like
Yeah.
chemicals and fuel, um, medicine, nails, metal, glass, fertilizer. So almost pretty much everything can be found in and around that, just close to that toxic dump. Just to the west and a teeny bit north, there's a lake, like a little bit lake there, and at the top part of that little tip of that little lake is a cabin, kind of a cabin that's one side sort of on stilts because of the way the ground's
Yeah.
uneven, and that's a good little area because you go over there. Underneath that cabin is a dig spot. In the cabin, you can find medicine, different medical supplies, other kinds of things like metal and nails and fertilizer around the kind of like the same kind of plant beds like you have in your shelter. They have some
Hmm.
of those around there, like on the lower, like the lower end state where they haven't been developed as much.
Yeah.
So yeah, and a phone in there too. So a lot of good stuff right in there.
I want to say I found a blue lockbox in there too.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I don't. I haven't. So, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think I've even found weapons there, potentially. Like
I think
in
so
one of the
too.
bigger cabinets or
I think
something. Yeah.
I think there is like a weapon crate as well.
Yeah. There might be a cabinet there too, so that could have a weapon, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure I found weapons there, so. And then, you also have the southern exit on here, so apparently you can find yeah, there's some good stuff you can find there.
Yeah. Uh the southern exit, as like kind of talked about it earlier, uh right down the middle, like it starts off as a minefield, and you're like in between the fences, but on the east and the west side, there's actually some good stuff. So on the eastern side, there's kind of like the wooden garage type building, and that is
Mhm.
like you get fuel, chems, wire, weapon crate. There's even like a phone in there, which is
Yeah,
kind of like strange because it's middle of nowhere. But yeah, it's there. And then if you jump on the other side, uh, there's
and the
like
picture we
one of the
have up
new
now, yeah.
yeah. So there's actually one of the new buildings we kind of talked about. I showed it off in the preview, uh, the season preview episode. So there's that building, and there's like your typical like tool mechanical shed Doc was talking about earlier. That can have bird house. I think there might even be a timed here too, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Um, but it's like th- it- again, this is a good spot for like chems, food, metal parts, wire. There's consumables, especially in the newer building. Like I found some consumable tools in there. So it is like a good exit because you're essentially like have two kind of like loot spots to
Mhm.
go for. The only thing you have to watch out for is it's pretty open, and there's a rock kind of in the middle of the exit, where people it's not in the exit, so people can literally sit there. Um,
Gotcha.
so yeah, you definitely want to watch out.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to the northern exit where there is like another kind of rock there too, where people could kind of sit and like wait for you to come. And I believe that the crows are there's a bug right now
Oh,
that they do know about that they're working, where it's like the initial trigger doesn't actually work, but then any subsequent triggers do work.
oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay,
So
that's good to
and
know.
it's like it's not like both Outlanders will hear it either. It's only one of them that affects or something like that. So
Oh, interesting.
um yeah.
Okay. I know there's still a few bugs. I know that we've mentioned the bugs before because there's that. I think I finally had the ammo dump bug happen to me the
Oh
other
yeah.
day because I looted. I think it was an M60 or something like that, or maybe a Machine Gewehr off of a dude with his ammo, and then I went to load it and there was no ammo. I was like, whoa, all the ammo was gone. So okay, but it wasn't a huge deal, but it was
Yeah.
interesting. Like, okay, I hadn't had that happen to me too often, but there we go. It still happens. So,
Yeah.
but it's something they're aware of, and it's something they're working on.
Yeah.
There's also one more location I kind of wanted to mention because you mentioned this area, which is really good, and I forgot about it. Um, to the west, more like almost the middle of the west, but closer to the west exit, sort of in between that. If you're looking at this picture we have up now, in between the west exit, following the water up to the signals, almost halfway between, there's a little grouping of houses, buildings, and that can have a lot of stuff there.
Mhm.
There's a dig spot behind one of the buildings, closer to the west exit side. Um, Bard House can be there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the time safe has ever been there, but I know Bard for sure. But then there's lots of standard kind of loot there too. I just forgot to mention it.
Okay.
So it's a good area to go
Yep.
to check out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, to our listeners, viewers, explore the map. Don't just go to like the points of interest. Like
Yeah.
literally go to the edges of the map because there's like little gems here and there type thing. Uh, and it is such like a diverse map. Like because you have trees, like a forested area, and then you have some that are barren lands that are like Del Canton kind of
Yeah.
where there's rocks and whatnot. Like the southwest, like if you follow like the edge of the map between the two exits, like there's literally like a giant ditch. So it's like if you
Yep.
want to just get around and be safe, boom, it's like just go in there. And that's the thing too is like those two exits, it's like they're a good backup plan for each other. But the northern part, it's like you are stuck. Like you can't double back anywhere
Yeah.
because you are probably going to die from radiation. And that's another thing. If you're in the middle of the map, you need to be cognizant of the time
Hmm.
because you are going to die to radiation. I've died to radiation. I've seen
I
plenty of
have.
streamers who have died to radiation because they haven't left early enough.
Hmm.
Uh, and I was telling my viewers and like some other people this is the first map I will actually bring in adrenaline, because I don't really care for it, but it's almost a necessity. Like for me, it's like I want a sniper rifle because I want a scope, and I want adrenaline because of the distance, because it is just massive. So,
Yeah.
and it's like if you really want to like reach one of those loot events, you are definitely going to need adrenaline and
Yeah.
caffeine because
Adrenaline
the
has,
spawns. Oof.
yeah, adrenaline has made my regular loadout now, so I always have one adrenaline.
Mhm.
A lot of the times it's because yeah, I want to be able to try to reach an exit because I'm always there as long as I possibly can. But this map and Grantheim are the two maps really that like. There's other
Mm.
maps that yeah they're pretty big, but usually there's an exit you can get to fairly easily no matter where you are on those maps. But
Mhm.
Grantheim, if you're in the middle and
Yep.
it starts coming, there's a good chance you may not make it. The adrenaline also helps with the jump on the ground time,
Yep.
and so yeah, if you're only taking it for certain maps, this one and ground time, take the adrenaline for those for sure. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a fantastic map, and I look forward to playing it more. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely like one of my favorite maps as well.
Yeah, and it's funny too because when Kirsten came out, I enjoyed Kirsten, but then I stopped playing it, and then I rarely ever go there anymore.
Hmm.
But this one is like, yeah, no, if something else is around, if it's not here, then definitely I'll go with something else. But as soon as it pops up, yeah, I'm going there because
Yeah.
it's maybe, and there might be the newness thing, but it doesn't have the same with Kirsten. I don't know. It's almost like that because it's all sort of funneled in
Hmm.
Kirsten. Like you got the two, it's high and then goes down. It almost
Yeah.
feels like you're funneled in, and I don't know. It maybe seems more dangerous in some ways. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just don't go there unless it's
I
for shootouts. Yeah.
I find this map is for everyone because it's like,
Yeah.
if you have the killers, it's like boom, you have the size of the lobby is it's 12-person lobby.
Yeah.
If you want like loot, there's a good loot, and there's like space. So like avoid the initial confrontation. Like boom, you're free to loot. Uh, so I think it's a good map for everyone, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There we go.
excellent.
So that's Myren. Yeah. Definitely a great new map, and it's nice seeing they're not just making new maps, but they're also adding new things in, right? Like they're
Yeah.
starting to borrow some buildings from DayZ, making new buildings as well. Eventually we'll even get to go into them uh, when they're ready for that. So that's
Yep.
pretty cool. I can't wait to see what they're like inside. Like how big are they inside? Like how much room
Yep.
is in there to hide or whatnot. I wonder if they're going to have like any kind of rooftop access. Like they already have roof access
Yep.
from the outside, but will there be any from the inside? I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. So there we go. That is Myren. Um yeah, there we go. That was fun. Hope you
Yep.
enjoyed it. Not much more to say other than that right now. So we'll be back in a couple weeks with our next episode. Um until then, like usual, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit
Yep.
that notification bell, all the good things.
Yep.
And until next time, uh stay safe, stay safe out in the outlands, and have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
I've heard you say you lost your way, lost your way again. You don't see your patience and flame up your dream, flame up